Today we'll be discussing how to fix erectile dysfunction if you have low testosterone.
And if this is what you're looking for, please do stick around until the very end. We'll show you exactly how to get a free, personalized treatment plan to help reverse this condition. Hi, I'm Kelvin, and I'm one of the wellness professionals here at the Novus Center.
And I'm Stephanie Wolff, PA and CEO of the Novus Center. So how exactly does low testosterone cause erectile dysfunction? Well, you have to know what testosterone actually does. Not only does testosterone help with your energy and your mood, your sleep, your libido, but testosterone does a lot more than that. It actually improves or increases your nitric oxide production. And for those of you who don't know this, you have what's called endothelial cells, which line the inner lining of your blood vessels, and they're responsible for releasing nitric oxide. Nitric oxide causes vasodilation, which allows for optimum amount of blood flow through these blood vessels. So in order to release that nitric oxide, you have to have enough testosterone to actually cause that nitric oxide to be released. The second thing that testosterone does is it actually acts as a calcium channel blocker. So think about it like this. Your cells will accumulate calcium. And when it does that, it causes vasoconstriction, which means there's no blood going through those blood vessels. Testosterone will actually block this calcium uptake. So it tells the cells to get rid of that excess calcium so that it can cause vasodilation of your blood vessel, therefore optimizing the amount of blood flow through the blood vessels to feed your tissue. So again, testosterone is not only important for your mental health and your energy, your sleep, your libido, but it also produces nitric oxide and helps as a calcium channel blocker. There are a few different ways you can treat your ED if you have low testosterone. Most doctors prescribe Viagra, or what you guys know as the little blue pill, or perhaps it's Levitra or Cialis. Whatever name it is, it's actually what they call a PDE5 inhibitor. And just to give you a little bit of background of what a PDE5 inhibitor is, it actually blocks what's called cGMP. I know I'm throwing out all kinds of words at you. cGMP is actually an enzyme that will cause calcium to be blocked from the cell. And when you have a flux of calcium in the cell, you get vasoconstriction. So no blood flow is flowing through it. So this is the body's natural process. You're going to release nitric oxide, which then releases something called cGMP. This cGMP is going to block calcium. That way you can have vasodilation. So what does PDE5 do? Well, the PDE5 enzyme itself is going to make sure you're not walking around with an erection for 24 hours a day. But as we get older, we produce less nitric oxide. When you produce less nitric oxide, that means that you're no longer creating that chemical reaction, which means that you're no longer blocking that calcium. So they had to invent Viagra and Levitra and Cialis, this PDE5 inhibitor, so that it can go in there and basically hold off that calcium. So you could sustain an erection much longer, or basically back to when you were 20. When you were 20, you were able to get an erection and maybe it lasts for, a couple hours. Maybe you had a short refractory time. But as you get older, you're no longer able to do that. So that's really why these PDE5 inhibitors were invented, so that you could actually sustain an erection for 4 to 6 hours. Then of course, there's the Trimix injections. Trimix injections are basically a chemical compound, and they have 3 different types of chemicals in them, which are all vasodilators. So once you inject the Trimix, it literally takes 10 minutes and you have an erection. There's no thought process behind it. It just happens. It's a vasodilator. And then it lasts for about 4 to 6 hours. So, the gentlemen that do use Trimix, they are able to have multiple sessions or shorter refractory time if they want to, because the medication is doing the job for them. And then don't forget that there's surgery. Surgery is exactly what you're thinking. There is both a inflatable and then there's a semi-rigid contraption. And what they do is they actually will place it in between your corpus cavernosum. If it's an inflatable one, it's The best way for me to explain it is kind of like one of those balloons that you'll see, outside of a car dealership, and you're responsible for pumping it up when you're ready for it. Whereas a semi-rigid is basically like a prosthetic. So like it says, you're semi-rigid, but it's surgery. And then of course there's shockwave therapy. Shockwave therapy is using acoustic wave or sound waves. And what sound waves are known for is breaking up microplaque and promoting something that's called angiogenesis, which is the formation of new blood vessels. So now you're optimizing the amount of blood flow through these new blood vessels and feeding new tissue. Regeneration. Now with shockwave therapy, we both have in-clinic as well as an at-home using what's now called the Phoenix. If you'd like to learn a little bit more, you can go to getyourphoenix.com. Then of course, there's hormone balancing. So hormones play a huge role, no pun intended, in erections. And the reason why is because, I'm not sure if you know this, but as you get older, your testosterone starts to decline, just like my estrogen starts to decline. But what's most important about all of this is that testosterone is a potent vasodilator. It's responsible for creating your nitric oxide. So remember when I was just talking about the PDE5 inhibitors and why they were actually brought to the market? They were brought to the market because as you age, your testosterone starts to decline, which means your production of nitric oxide starts to decline, which means you're producing less nitric oxide, which means that you're holding on to more calcium. You're not getting rid of it so that you can have vasodilation. So that's what testosterone is going to do for you. But testosterone's not a one-stop shop. There's so many other hormones that need balancing in your body. Growth hormone, estradiol, dihydrotestosterone, DHEA. There's so many other players. The best way that I like to explain it is think about it like a symphony. You have all these different musicians creating this beautiful music. What happens if all the flute players call in sick? You no longer have the same song. It's the same thing with your body. Don't forget about the P-shot. So the P-shot is using your PRP or platelet-rich plasma. This is your own blood. So you come into the clinic, we draw your blood, we spin it in a centrifuge, and we remove the platelet-rich plasma. Your platelet-rich plasma has all your growth factors, your own stem cells, and your healing properties, which really help to regenerate that tissue in the penis as well as the blood vessel formation. So we have a lot of gentlemen who come in here who do not only shockwave therapy, but they'll do the P-shot at their last treatment, and then of course, they deal with their hormones. But which of these treatments should you actually do? Maybe you don't have the time or the money to try all of these treatments. And maybe you shouldn't be trying all these treatments. So we have a solution just for you.
Novus is the nation's leading sexual wellness clinic. We have a 95% success rate with reversing erectile dysfunction, all due to our standard protocol in treating patients. For patients who have erectile dysfunction, we have 3 separate protocols. First of which is minimum protocol. Second is preferred protocol, and third is best protocol. If you want to skip ahead and check out your own personalized protocol, go to getmyprotocol.com.
Now we'll quickly explain the minimum protocol, the absolute minimum our patients need to reverse their low testosterone-induced erectile dysfunction. Now let's talk about the minimum protocol for low testosterone ED. I'm going to recommend a Novus 90-minute hormone medical evaluation first. Testosterone is a potent vasodilator, and imbalanced hormones can lead to a number of health problems, which include erectile dysfunction. So we must go over your current medications, and that also includes any supplements or vitamins that you're taking. I need to see your entire blood panel, including all of your hormone levels, so that I know how to balance and optimize not only your hormones, but maybe your cholesterol and your blood pressure and your vitamin levels. All of this is going to help regenerate your tissue and your blood vessels, as well as strengthen your sexual function, libido, energy, and overall health. If we find anything that's alarming in your blood test, we need to address that immediately if I'm going to help you improve your sexual function.
Now, obviously, we can't explain everything here at once. So if you want your own personalized treatment plan for your erectile dysfunction and an explanation on what to do and when to do it, go to getmyprotocol.com.
We've left the clinical studies to the topics we've discussed today in the description below. We hope this helps.